I've never been a fan of work life, that there's a balance. I think that's one of those things where we put ourselves under pressure, because the mere looking at the hours you spend at work and the hours you spend at home, there is no balance. If you put it on a scale, it can never be balanced. So it's being able to identify what needs my attention at this particular time. When my children were younger, my schedule was a bit different. My weekends, I would only work when they've gone to Arabic school. And so it's being able to identify and plan yourself properly, determine your priorities, ask for support. I know that we all don't have it easy in terms of support. Some of us have it quite easy at the home front. Some don't, unfortunately. But I do believe that there is one support that is common to everyone, that's God. And so personally, I do a lot of crying to God at that moment of being overwhelmed.
Hello, you're welcome to this 6th edition of the AIMS podcast, coming to you live from the studios of AIMS Media Company Limited. As promoted, what do we have for you today? Are you a woman? You have a woman in the house? We're going to be focused on the professional women. And to throw light on this, we have a high-profile corporate woman that will be sharing thoughts with us. A lawyer, an Islamic finance expert, and a corporate guru. Permit me to welcome to the studios of AIMS Media Company Limited a very delectable, soft-spoken, highly cerebral Hajia Azizat Musa Sadiq. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you.
I appreciate your coming, and then we appreciate all you have been doing for the society. Of course, she is a partner with Banwo Ighodalo Law Firm. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
As a lawyer, I mean, when we were chatting earlier, you said you've never been to the courtroom.
Yeah.
So I'm now wondering, how come a lawyer, there are certain lawyers that will not have any business in the courtroom? First of all, educate us in that regard.
Yeah, so I think you really do not have to go to court to practice, but you have to be qualified and go through the motions, have your university degree, go to the Nigerian law school, and qualify as a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court. But when I was in school, I decided that I wasn't going to do litigation, because in those days, the rule was if you're going to go to court, you'll have to remove your hijab.
Okay.
So it was a non-negotiable for me. And so from my 400 level, I started looking at different options of what I can do. Yes. And so deliberately, when after law school, I was very deliberate about law firms where you could do very well without going to court. And so that was how I ended with Banwo Ighodalo.
Now, I'm interested. Let's hear this. When you hear Banwo and Ighodalo, it doesn't connote Islam to me, and they are male. Today we are talking about professional women. Tell us about your experience in this firm so far, where you have spent quite a number of years.
Yeah, so I've spent my entire professional life at Banwo Ighodalo. I joined January 2006, and it's a lot.
2006.
Yes, ma.
Wow, we are in 2026.
Yes,
you are one of those that cheated nature. Look at your baby face. 20 years, 2 decades.
Yes,
that's fair.
So it's a law firm where, when I started, and I think maybe even up till now, we've always been predominantly women.
Wow.
And it's a law firm where the male partners as much as possible, support us as women. They understand our issues and they've kind of like lived with it. It's never been a law firm where there is that discrimination. It's a law firm. When people ask me that, one of the reasons why I've stayed so long is that it's a law firm where intelligence and competence is what is celebrated, right? Regardless of the gender, regardless of the religion, right? No, but everybody just just do your work and get it done well.
Well,
and once you do that, the sky is the limit.
Okay, so our focus today, we're talking about professional women. You know, just relax. Sit down. Professional women, and what's your own take? How would you describe a woman as a professional, as one yourself?
Yeah, I don't think there is one single requirement or one single character that defines a professional woman or whether you're professional. I think it's a combination of things, and for me it's a combination of competence, discipline, reliability, and character. Because what you must be competent at what you do. People should be able to rely on you. They must be able to trust your judgment, and then you must have that character. So it's competence that is anchored on character. That's really what defines professionalism in my perspective, because you can be good at what you do and you are badly behaved, you're not behaving professionally. If you are well behaved and you're not competent, you are also not necessarily a professional. So it's competency anchored on good character.
Okay, interesting. Yes. You know that this program is coming to you live, so that means we require your comments to come in, your questions. She's here to answer all of those questions. Now, Haja Azizat, let's look at it. We cannot deny the fact that we are in a male-dominated society, and women who want to excel may find that a little bit of difficulty in terms of even the home front, the workspace, you know, and you have excelled in this space for 20 years. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I think it's a very tough one. I think as women, you are expected to be exceptional in everything and never get tired or look tired. You're expected to be exceptional at work, exceptional mother, exceptional wife, exceptional this, exceptional that. And yes, so it's a bit of a struggle, practically speaking. What I tell people, and one of the things I did, I've never been a fan of work-life, that there's a balance. I think that's one of those things where we put ourselves under pressure, because the mere looking at the hours you spend at work and the hours you spend at home, there is no balance. If you put it on a scale,
it can
never be balanced.
Some of us carry work home.
Exactly. So it's being able to identify what needs my attention at this particular time. When my children were younger, my schedule was a bit different. My weekends, I would only work when they've gone to Arabic school. And so it's being able to identify and plan yourself properly, determine your priorities, ask for support. I know that we all don't have it easy in terms of support. Some of us have it quite easy at the home front. Some don't, unfortunately. But I do believe that there is one support that is common to everyone. That's God. And so personally, I do a lot of crying to God at that moment of being overwhelmed. And then nobody has the type of home that you have. You're married to a different man, and so you can't use the way somebody treats or to judge how you will run your home. I think being open sometimes helps, and being transparent with your partner, and crying for help when you need help, and not trying to look like a superwoman. When I am tired, I am tired. I will say it as politely as I can. When I can't do something, I honestly cannot do it. And so, but sometimes we put the burden on ourselves. And then at the workplace, I think a lot of times as women, we tend to, yes, those things are there. I mean, when I hear people's experiences, I'm always very, how can that happen in an organization? But yes, those things do happen. But I think that we ourselves as women, when we get up there, what do we do? You don't shut the door when you get up there to others. Okay. Because I think it's another thing that also helps.
Yes. And when you are climbing up, remember that there are people coming up that you can help. Now, on that, you following you for a while now, you also a counselor, and that's even part of what you're doing now. Obviously, you may have had it a bit easy, even though there are challenges here and there. Are there some specific requirements, irrespective of the profession where you are in, to garner, to have, to be able to excel without saying that I'm a superwoman?
Yeah, so you remember when we were talking about professionalism, I said that the first thing is being competent.
Yes.
You have to be good at what you're doing. You have to be good at least at one thing. You can't be a jack of all trades, right? You must also be teachable, which is a bit of challenge I see these days. You must be teachable in the sense that you must learn to accept your mistake. You must take responsibility when you make mistake. You must be ready to learn from everyone. And you also need to have your non-negotiables, one of which is integrity. Now, when you have your non-negotiables, I think it makes it easier because when people know you for who you are, but that competency has to be there in the first instance. Once you are competent, you have your non-negotiables. You build in that support framework in terms of, okay, this person, if the person is going to be at work, if the person is a family that you can reach out to and trust, right? An accumulation of those things, and you need to know when to take a break, right? Because if you don't take care of yourself, it even goes into the quality of your work. And I won't tell my associates, when you're tired, really, you can't be productive. So, but I guess the work pressure sometimes, and most times we forget and we mix up busyness with effectiveness. Measurement of how effective you are is not necessarily about the volume of work that you're doing. It's about how effective I am at what I am doing. Your deliverables. How am I a problem solver? Am I just identifying problems? How do I continue to learn? What is useful today? What I learned 20 years ago when I started is not what I'm using today. I'm still using some of those things, but you always have to be a learner.
It's evolving.
Yes, you always have to be a learner. You need to build your competency. You need to have your non-negotiables. You need to be teachable, and you need to be resilient without necessarily burning out.
Okay.
And you must learn when to say no, I can't. And I think it's a struggle for a lot of women, because sometimes you think that when you say that no, they will judge you. Yes. But for me, I always say that when people know you as an hardworking person or you're competent, unless that person is not of a good mind, the person is not good-minded, when you are tired, you should cut the person some slacks. But if you started off from day one as, I'm tired, I'm tired. When you're actually tired,
you won't reckon with that.
Yeah. Okay, so it starts out well, and then it makes it easier. I
like your delivery. I like your diction. Your communication skill is top notch. What has this got to do with being a professional, irrespective of your profession?
Yeah. I mean, communication is very key in everything you do, right? If you know, but you cannot deliver, it's as good as not knowing, right? And communication is not about being the loudest in the room. I remember that when I started my career, one of the feedbacks I used to receive as an associate was, you should learn to speak up. You don't go into the room and just be looking. When you have a point, you make it. And in my mind, I was like, oh God, they said that as a woman, as a Muslim woman, you should not shout. You should not. So I remember, those days, Mr. Gallo, anytime I come back, he'd be like, Madam, next time you speak, you know the work. So you don't go there and just be looking. And then later we had a conversation and said, okay, I see your style. You need to be able to know when to find your voice. You need to know when to speak and communicate properly in a way that the person that you are communicating to listens and understands. And it doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be effective. And communication involves listening as well, which is where I think there's an issue. Listening is different from hearing. you can hear, but you're not listening. And if you are just hearing in order to respond, you're not going to be effective. But you need to listen to understand so that you can respond adequately. I mean, so if a client comes to my office and I'm speaking plenty jargons and technical, and they come out confused than they were before, I'm not communicating. So both in oral and in writing, I mean, you need to ensure that you need to learn to break things down. And I think it starts from listening. I mean, I read a book it's titled When Hearing Becomes Listening. It's written by Brother Michael Adam Smith. I think that's his name. He was a revert. And he talked about how listening is very, very, very important. And he equated it to the Prophet ﷺ as how the Prophet was a good listener. And one of the things I learned in the book was even how he linked it to Allah's name as the all listening, and that the all hearing, and that is that Allah listens and understands what we have, what is disturbing us, and He responds appropriately based on our asks. So I think one good communication skill is not just about speaking well or writing well. You also need to listen when people are communicating with you so you can respond effectively and appropriately.
And we're still having Haji Aziza Musa Sadiq here, a partner with Banwo Ighodalo Law Firm.
Banwo and
Banwo and Ighodalo Law Firm. Interesting. Okay, now, it's interesting that you talked about women. Some believe that either it's African or even in some faith, they believe that a woman should not make public speech, as it were, should not be heard, and should not be seen, and all of that. And your job requires some form of public presentation. I remember the first time I met you, made a public presentation to an audience. How do we begin to draw the line to be sure that, yes, it is quality delivery? I'm not coming here to come and show off my knowledge or my face or my appearance, but to add value, to add knowledge, to present an information, based on the perception, general perception in the society. A woman should just, go there and not be heard or seen.
Yeah, it's one of those controversial questions that even sometimes I also think about it. I think about it often because there are different schools of thought as to is it halal, is it haram, where do you draw the line? And where I console myself, whether I don't know whether it's right, I pray to Allah to forgive if it's wrong, is that I'm doing it solely in the context of my work. I'm not doing it, it's not that I'm carrying a microphone and I'm singing and I'm jumping all over the place. I'm delivering. And I'm also, I'm a bit mindful when I get invited to, okay, what am I talking about?
Certain places.
Yeah, certain places and the audience.
So you can turn down some?
Yes, I do turn down things if I'm not very comfortable about it. I turn it down and just say, I'm so sorry, but I'm unable to attend. Yes, so, and then even the way you sit when you are on a panel, for example, right? I tell some of my colleagues, when you're going on a panel, because you don't dress the way I dress, just try as much as possible to go with a shawl. Preferably wear trouser, right? So that you are very comfortable and conscious. Yes, so that you are very conscious about how you are sitting. You are not necessarily, or if you're wearing a dress or a skirt, just go with a scarf or a shawl. Just something to put on your lap so that you are able to focus and you are even not paying attention to, please, am I well seated?
Comfortable.
So personally, yes, I understand that for Islam is one of those religions and one of those beliefs where a woman is not to be heard. But for me, I contextualize it, and when I tell people that I'm not very active on social media, it's one of the reasons why I'm not active on social media. If you find me on social media, it's solely in my professional capacity. Because that gives me a bit of sanity from my conscience perspective, because I'm not sure whether that is even right or wrong, but I'm praying and hoping that Allah sees my heart, and I'm only doing it solely.
Forgive the shortcomings.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's my own perception. But one thing I always tell Muslim women is that, yes, there's that humility, but Humility should not now necessarily translate to being invisible, because we tend to now move from one extreme to the other. Because we are not supposed to be seen or heard, what you are not now being impactful.
That's exactly the point.
Yes. So modesty does not necessarily mean you should be invisible. You should be able to still make that impact as much as you can. And being impactful is not necessarily being loud. Or being everywhere. So I think the struggle with most of us as Muslims is drawing that line between, okay, when this is modesty, this is being impactful, this is where I now lose it completely and I become completely invisible, and then I do not even now add any value to the society.
Okay, because you, like I said earlier, a counselor, there are a lot of mentees in your, people that you counsel, just the way you are doing it now. And I'm beginning to also struggle with the issue of life-work balance, work-life balance, multitasking. You understand? Because some in society, will say, you have been a professional for the past 20 years and you've raised children. To God be the glory that, good one. You will have a good home. So we say, no work. Stay at home, take care of the children first. When they are of age, you can pursue your career. The program is the AIMS podcast. We appreciate you. Those on Facebook, YouTube, and all our other platforms where we are bringing this program to you. So our guest in the studio is Haja Aziza Musa Sadiq. Again, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you, ma.
Okay, so let's look at it, how women don't get carried away with success. You have been a successful lawyer, a corporate one at that. How do we ensure that we don't get carried away? This is what's really the bane of most homes, that the men will say, sit at home, take care of the children, take care of the home front, now denying the value addition that you probably have gone to school to acquire. And the society is even losing from it. What's your take?
Yeah, so I think I'll try to answer it 2 points. I think sometimes it's not necessarily because some men just have that sense of insecurity. And it's that sense of insecurity that translates into that. And you do not, the world has changed, right? You have faceless YouTube channels. People are contributing, they are adding value without necessarily being seen. So I remember I come from a family of all girls, and my mom always said it to us that if you marry and the man says you should not work, even if it's sweet that you're going to be selling, even if it's biscuits that you're going to be selling, you cannot not do anything. So I think sometimes when you have that, it's now your ability. It has to be mutual, though. It has to be mutual. It has to be something that it becomes a problem when it is forced. And then even when it's now mutual, I do not think that it means that you shouldn't do anything at all. I think the world has evolved beyond that. I think there are so many things you can do from the comfort of your home and still deliver value and be impactful in that little way until that time that you are ready to come out. Explode. If you really want to come out. Now, in terms of managing, I think, for me, one of the things that one has to be very mindful, it's very good to be ambitious, right, as a woman, but when you are being as you are being ambitious, as you are evolving, you need to also be mindful of who am I becoming as I am being ambitious. And the other thing is that you don't lose sight, and I know the audience is a bit mixed, so I'll try to be balanced, but there's the fact, because I'm a Muslim, so most of it will come based on my experience as a Muslim. So yes, you have to be ambitious, but you need to be very conscious of who you are becoming as you are being ambitious. You also need to be very mindful of your relationship with your creator. I think ultimately, as you build that career, you don't lose your relationship with Allah.
You need the guidance.
Yes. And once you're able to maintain and balance that relationship with Allah, it gives you a lot more guidance on how to tread on dicey or
Caution.
difficult situations. I remember that there was a Saturday a very long time ago that I had to travel, and I think my husband had gone to pick the children from Arabic school, and I got a call from the office who was like, you need to go to London this night. And I just put beans on the fire because I tried to cook for the week. I was confused. I was just crying. When my husband came, he said, what happened? Why are you crying? I was just crying. He said, why are you crying? I said that they said I should come and go to London. He said, as in, go to London. When? I said, this night. He said,
Interesting.
Kilo wa fe se? I said, I don't even know. I told them I cannot go, but that there's no other person that can go. And I'm the one working on the transaction, and the client says that we must leave for UK tonight. He said, okay, so what do you want to do? Crying is not going to solve it. I remember I called my mom. She was still very okay then. So I called her and I said, she was like, why are you crying? I said I should come and go to London this night. She was like, they didn't tell you before. I said, yes, mommy, I'm tired. I just shopped on Saturday. I'm trying to cook. I have beans on the fire. The house is upside down. She was like, okay, calm down. What's your husband saying? I said, he's asking me that, what do I want to do? Asking that, what do I want to do? He said, so that's what means I'm asking now, what do you want to do? I said, I've told them I cannot go, but they said there's not a person that can go. So my husband was like, oh yeah, calm down. What are you doing now? I said, see the beans, look at the children. I've not even checked finalized homework because I was going to do it when they come back from Arabic school. He said, okay, what time is the flight? I said the flight was BA. It was a BA flight to UK, so it was late in the night, around 11. And so he said, okay, call Mr. Godalo back and tell him that you will go. I said, are you sure?
Very understanding.
He said, yes, now that, what do you want to do? That, okay, the client has said somebody must come. There's no other person that can go. So what do you want to do? It's not your office. It's not your company.
Not your company.
So it's that, what can you do? So my mom too now called back that, okay, the beans, can she send somebody? My mother said, no, don't worry, mommy, I'll finish the beans. She said, okay, what about because I bought pepper, I bought vegetables. She said, okay, she will send somebody to come and pick it for me, and she will sort the pepper out for me, and that she will cook the effort. She'll buy effort back from me when I come back. So, I mean, in that moment, I could have just said to him when he came back that, oh, please, I need to go to UK.
Exactly. The attitude, the behavior, and all of that.
Yes.
You know?
So, again, that relationship with Allah, and I always tell people that in this our corporate world, if you do not make a conscious effort to maintain a relationship with Allah, it's very easy for you to lose track. I still do Arabic school. I do Quran classes on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Wow.
I do a lot of, when I see classes by this doctor and Unifa, I've forgotten how to pronounce her name. I do her classes. They are expensive, but they keep me conscious of the fact that, okay, I am a Muslim first. That is my identity. I have certain responsibilities, and they provide those guidance. And there are a number of other professional women that, okay, I look at their character. They are not Muslims. I follow them. I get tips. I learn tips from them. You need to have something that will guide you. Now, if the man is insecure, engage you and serve as that anchor. If the man is insecure, really, there is nothing you can do, even with the best of behavior. That one, is God that can help you to change the man. But as a woman, you need to be conscious. And so that's why I always say that as you are being ambitious, you must always be conscious of who you are becoming as part of that. I mean, I remember one day that I said something, and my husband was like, you're not talking to the people in your office. Immediately I said it. I immediately said it. I knew that I had
you understand, overstepped.
Yeah, so I said I was sorry. Immediately. He didn't say more than, Madam, I'm not your associate. And
remember where you are.
Exactly. So I caught myself. And I mean, when I get upset, and I just always, okay, Aziza, you're at home. So mentally, when I get to my gate,
you change your guard.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there are a lot of very interesting stories you are unveiling for us who continue. But from your own interaction with women, in the corporate space and all of that, are there certain professions that you won't encourage women to go into?
I really will not say there are professions I would say that a woman should not go into just because she's a woman. I mean, but there are things around maybe ethics that you will not want. But in terms of a career or a profession, I think at the end of the day, it's really how much of support you can get, right? And what can you do with that career that you are building for yourself? Remembering your values, which is one of the things I said is that your non-negotiables must be very, very clear. So even for me as a young associate, I had certain non-negotiables. They would tease me about it in the office, so I will not go for partying.
Old school.
That, are you the only Muslim? There are other Muslims, and I just laughed at. I don't know their relationship with God. Or me, I'm a sinner, so I just want to do more than. Yeah, so it's that support and having your non-negotiables and the support. I think those are the things that will. I don't think, can a woman be a doctor? Yes. Can you be a teacher? Can you be a pilot? Provided it doesn't go against your value, right? As a Muslim, I mean, from a religious perspective, or whatever value you hold on to. I won't say that because you are a woman, you shouldn't do anything.
Okay, we're talking earlier on about communication skills, making presentations and all of that. What's your take on women in politics?
You know, I told you that I don't like to discuss that topic because it's too controversial. Personally, I don't like politics, but I will not judge a woman that decides to go into politics if she believes that she can do it and still maintain her sanity, maintain our non-negotiables, and will not compromise our values and our religious belief. Because for me, everything, even from a career perspective, as you grow older in your career, what you always ask yourself, and more, there are certain things I will not want to do because I keep asking myself, okay, is there baraka in this thing, right? What are you going to tell Allah at the end of the day? Because the older you get, you become more conscious about death.
Getting closer.
Exactly. And so you always ask yourself that, okay, this thing I'm doing. So for me, that's a test. And so from that lens, from my own perspective, I wouldn't think that you should go into politics, particularly the way it's done in Nigeria. Maybe if it's saner elsewhere. And you don't have to compromise so much. But I think that sometimes you see people, the size of the hijab will shrink because they are going into politics. You are going jumping up and down. You are wearing t-shirts. Exactly. So how much of it can you do that you don't lose your identity as a Muslim? Because in everything, as a woman, right? So in everything, it's really, will I still be able to keep my values? Will I be able to keep my integrity? Right? Will my non-negotiables be intact? If you are sure that you can do that and you will have the necessary support at the home front and at your family. But personally, I will not do politics.
We're interested in your story, and it's been so heartwarming so far, with this interaction we've had with you. But you mentioned something earlier that as you grow older, you get the consciousness of your getting closer to your grief, even though Almighty can decide to take anybody anytime. You've had a very, very robust career, but is there anything in your career, any time in your life that you had some sort of a drawback, a challenge, either emotional or something that has really impacted negatively on your career growth?
No, I've not had any experience that has impacted negatively on my career growth. Have I had challenges? Yes. Have I had times where I would say to myself, Aziza, really, do you want to continue this job? Several times. But I guess one of the things I tell young people is that you must be very clear about your why. Why am I doing this thing? That why is your anchor. So when I started the legal profession, like I said, I was very clear I wasn't going to do litigation. It was not something that I even thought about twice. So I was very deliberate and intentional. But when I started, I realized that I'll go into a room and I'll be the only one dressed like me. I won't find anybody that looks like me. Sometimes people look down on you, but I have a very good boss, and I always tell people that I can't tell my story without Mr. Ighodalo. We have our moments, but I know
Naturally.
that Allah is been very, very, very supportive. It's been very, regardless of the difference in the faith, regardless of the fact that sometimes he thinks I'm extreme in terms of my religious belief, but he doesn't judge me based on that. Yeah, but have I had those moments? But it's my wife. So then, as a young associate, I said to myself that Aziza, I've had different dreams. I want to be that leading capital market lawyer with hijab. I mean, I want to be known as a capital market lawyer. And so in those moments where something happens and it wasn't the way I expected, or somebody spoke to me in a manner that I felt derogatory or I'm overwhelmed, it was my why. As I remember that you said that you want to be known as an hijabi capital market and M&A lawyer. Have you achieved it yet? So why do you want to give up now? So that why, but now I think I've passed that why, right? And yes, but those moments have been there. But have they impacted negatively on my career? I think Allah has made it very easy, and I'm very, very grateful. I don't take it for granted because I don't come from a family of lawyers. I don't think there's any lawyer in my family, both from my mother's side and my father's side. So it wasn't that I had a role model. I've had to learn everything by myself. I wasn't born with the silver spoon, you know my mom. So I've had to work hard.
You have added the silver spoon to the family.
I've had to work hard so I'm grateful to Allah to earn it. Yeah, so there have been those challenges. Even at home, you really want to be there for your children all the time. I remember when my older son, when he was in primary 3, I went to pick him and he said, "Mommy, everybody's mommy comes with their allergy. Allergy is my driver." And when he said everybody's mommy comes with their allergy, but you don't come with allergy. I was pained. My office is on the island. My kids were schooling in Unilag, staffs, ULWS, Women's Society. So when my husband got home, he said, "What's the matter?" I said, "You know what this child told me today? That mommy, everybody's mommy comes with their allergy, meaning that because they are not allowed to say driver, that everybody's mommy comes with their allergy. Only mommy doesn't come with allergy. She just sends allergy." So we said, okay, I'll try to pick them once a week. It wasn't consistent. I mean, you want to do school runs. There are times where I'll put my feet down. There are times where somebody will say, "No, Aziza, but you can always, you have to attend this meeting. You have to attend this meeting. And there's nothing that you can do." And those moments, you just go to the bathroom, you will cry. And then, but I'm very grateful. My husband, because he was working on the mainland, he's always been very supportive. So he said, "You know what, don't kill yourself. I will pick them." So that was how we got my children to stop being picked by the driver. So their daddy started picking them, but I picked them twice. And then when COVID came, I was one of those that benefited a lot from COVID. So there was work from home, and we worked from home twice a week. So it was not negotiable for me. Where I am doing school run, I'm going to pick my children. It's work from home.
Creates a lot of bonds, you know.
Yes, so yes, those challenges have been there, but it hasn't negatively impacted my career growth. Has it impacted some of the things I could have done as an individual? Yes, because as the more you just get involved in these things, and the one you have not even finished balancing it. You want to add another one, just stay where you are. So psychologically, maybe there are things I could have done, right? But without somebody guiding you, and I'm also okay. I don't want to put too much pressure on my husband to ask for this, ask for that. That you want to do this, you want to do that. So, yes, have those things been there, but not in terms of my career, in terms of progression. Because I joined Bawa Ighodalo in 2006, and I became a partner in 2017. So, after 11 years,
you grew to the ranks.
Yes,
Congratulations. Okay, so you mentioned earlier that you come from a family of girls, and I know that it's a close-knit family. There is some memorable story that you may want to share, that how that has impacted on your family life, your love for your family, immediate and extended. Do you want to share that?
Yeah, it's a story that I think I'm bold at saying now. It's the loss of my younger sister.
Immediate?
My immediate younger sister.
Okay.
In 2015.
Wow.
and it changed a lot of things for me. It changed, one, my perception to life. I may sound very ambitious. I'm actually not as ambitious as I sound in terms of, okay, I want to achieve this. Because, I mean, you see, it was the Hajj Stampede, that Hajj Stampede. And so that was when you are seeing so many dead people around you, people that you were moving in together, and you just see dead bodies everywhere. And within, everything happened, it was like the twinkle of an eye.
Were you together?
Yes, I was with my sister. We were together. And we were going in, and the stampede started, people were being pushed, and she said she wanted to drink water. So she told me to hold her stones, and I even told her that, are you sure you want to drink water here? She said yes, she wants to drink water. And I said, okay, yeah, bring the stone. So we were still being pushed. So she drank water, and she said I should give her back her stones. I said, no, let me hold it, because she was already sweating. And
out of exhaustion, probably.
Yes. So she said no, she wanted to hold it. And the last I remember was that one man just came from nowhere and separated us. And that was the last I saw of my sister. So in terms of death, so I know I have a friend that thinks that I still need to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. She's very sure that I'm not okay, because not that I'm not moved when people die. I feel for people, but I struggle to cry. Right? Maybe after seeing thousands of dead people that we were coming together, that we left the camp together, that we all gisted and they were all just dead. Right? So it changed my perception towards life. It changed my perception towards accumulating wealth. That when you have the money, right, and somebody is in need, you are saving for a tomorrow that you don't know that you'll be there.
You're not sure of.
And so I think that's one thing I learned from my sister's death, in terms of positively, that so when someone comes to ask me for something, even if I remember there was a day I wanted to buy one bag. I'd been eyeing that bag and I'd saved up for it, and somebody reached out that she was trying to pay school fees, and I said to myself, Aziza, and I've been saving for this bag, because I'd always wanted the bag. I got home, I told my husband that somebody said that they want to, and he said, okay, so kilo afeshi. I said, that money for the bag. He said, so but you've been talking about this bag. I said, yes, I've been talking about the bag. But really, I can buy the bag today and die tomorrow, right? So it changed my perception towards helping as much as I can afford. Because I always say to myself, okay, yes, you're saving. It's good to save. I do save, I invest. But it's always, I don't like being taken advantage of either. But where I see a genuine need, I know some, I go for it. Because for me, as much as
to Jariya for
it's Sadaka to Jariya, you need to gather as many Jannah coins as you can gather, because you don't know what tomorrow.
I'm getting envious of you now.
You don't know what tomorrow will bring. So yes, I want to do this investment. Yes, I want to. And one thing my father said to me was, when my sister died, when I was lamenting, was that he didn't sign a contract with Allah that none of us would die before him, and that even me, who knows, if Allah decides to take me, what can he do? So even when I save for my children and I'm saving for their school, that sentence, I'm sure my dad doesn't understand the impact on me. But that sentence, I'm always very conscious of, because you're saving for the children, but somebody is in need now. And you're saving for it tomorrow. So can you half it? Can you divide it? I'm not saying spend everything you have, but be conscious of the fact that I'm always very conscious personally of the fact that tomorrow I may not see tomorrow.
Tomorrow may not come.
So I think that's one thing I learned, and it's made me closer to my other sisters. We have 4 girls, and we have a 5th sister, a cousin of mine, very close cousin. So in my mind, I still have a sister. So
Wow,
but it made me closer. It made me appreciate family more than. I mean, I don't joke with my sisters. If I don't joke with my
Well,
sisters,
it's not too late to still say condolences. The story always resonates. It shows the bond in the family, the closeness, and all of that. We can only say that may Allah continue to have mercy on her. Let's go for a short break. It's Ames Podcast live from the studios of Ames Media Company Limited. We'll be back shortly.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
You're welcome back. The Ames Podcast is the program. It's coming to you live from the studios of Ames Media Company Limited. We are focusing on professional women, women in the professions. And we have a professional in the studio sharing thoughts, sharing stories, and giving insights. And mentoring. It's mentoring on TV. And we still have with us Hajia Azizat Musa Sadiq. She is a partner with Banwu and Igodalo Law Firm. You're welcome back to the program.
thank you, ma.
Thank you for all the insights you have provided so far. Now, in this era of tech, to be tech savvy, AI, can you be a professional without being tech savvy?
I don't think that you can be a good professional without being tech savvy. I think most times there's that fear that AI has come and will take my work away. What you should ask yourself instead is, what value can I add to myself to ensure that I can still compete effectively with AI? I mean, I remember I was talking to someone in April and I said that the difference between a lawyer that uses AI purely and an intelligent lawyer is that when you put in the AI prompt and you get whatever it is you're getting, that experience will allow you to know the type of prompts that you put, how to sift through your answers, how to know that, look, this thing is not 100% accurate, and it's across all profession. So you are a doctor and they're saying that, oh, they're going to use AI to do surgery. AI will also, you have robotics doing surgeries now, you have machines that can diagnose. There is that human touch. What does that mean for you? How can you learn that skill and at the same time add the human touch? Because that human touch
Humanize
in certain
it.
professions is very, very important. The bedside manner. There's so much the robots can do in terms of bedside manner. So for me, yes, you have to equip yourself. And you may remember one of the things I said is that as a professional, you must continue to be teachable. You must continue to learn. You'll always be a student. You cannot stay there and say, oh, I am here, and then you can't. Exactly. What took you to the door is not going to keep you in the room. Right? So that thing has only taken you to the door. It has taken you inside the room, but it's not going to keep you in the room for long if you don't upskill. So the same thing with AI. How do I also learn the AI? Right, I learned a lot from my children because they are boys. So, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? I also teach them. So because I use a lot of presentation, PowerPoints and Excel, so that they teach me other things. I teach them.
Trading apps.
So you need to be AI savvy as a professional and not be afraid that you're going to lose your job.
Okay, so earlier on we were talking about working in a male-dominated space. If you have to lead men, you a boss, you lead men, how challenging. Sometimes such a woman can be taken for granted. I have the type of you at home. Who are you? Have you experienced this? May not be personal experience. You counsel for women in this kind of situation.
Yeah, thankfully, I have not experienced it before. There was a time where all my associates were guys, And I know someone used to laugh that says, because your children are boys, so you've carried it to the office too, and that's why you're wedding your twin is a guy. So I think for me, yes, there are some badly behaved men that no matter again what you do, but as a woman, if you are doing your work well and you are competent and you stand your ground firmly and respectfully, and respect is not because they are men, respect is because they are your colleagues at work, they are human beings. Everyone should be addressed in a respectful manner. Once you do that, that person that is badly behaved will calm down at some point, right? There are some, I remember starting at the very, I'm just remembering, it wasn't that the guy we were mates, we were colleagues, but we had a supervisor that was female, and he didn't really necessarily like the way she spoke to him. And I would always tell him that, look here, why don't you focus on the work? You're here to work, right? So your own is to do the work. An office environment is not a playground. Nobody's coming to rub your head. Right, so that's what I tell the guys. Nobody's coming to rub your head. When you get home, people can be hugging you and be doing that, but this is work environment. We are all here to work. What we owe ourselves, exactly, is to be respectful. We do not have to be friends, but we must be respectful, and that's something I hold on to. So we do the work. I focus on the work. If you like, go and play for anything you do with your personal life. So sometimes I think as women, maybe sometimes we get carried away, we start judging. What you do with your personal life does not concern me. Please just do my work and deliver. And deliver. So as much as possible, focus on the work. As much as possible, ensure that you don't put yourself in a position of compromise. Because once you compromise your own integrity, then it's easier for somebody to take advantage of you. But when they know that they can't blackmail you with anything and you're doing your work well, but if you're not doing your work well and you're always calling them, please, a guy is coming, help me to quickly do that file, you start to lose respect.
But did you foresee any kind of intimidation, particularly when you now have a lot of men under you, so some form of gang up and things like that?
No, I don't even look at them. Like I said, me, I focus on my work. I mean, so I come to the office, Mr. Man, please, can we, if I see that you're even, so I will even tease you, why are you doing like that? Well, it's about the work. It's really about the work. I'm not afraid of someone intimidating me, and it's not out of pride. It's out of the fact that I know that I'm doing my work.
Job.
Yes. And I know that I've not put myself in a position of compromise for an associate to now think that they can be rude. Exactly. Because I think once you are very clear and you draw the line, you set your boundaries from the beginning. The respect at some point, it may be difficult, particularly if the person is badly behaved. You can't legislate over how an adult will behave. And I mean, I've had friends that have complained about male in their offices, and sometimes I tell them that sometimes you just need to cut people some slacks. Maybe it comes from a family where it's all men and one girl and they used to boss them around. You just focus on the work. Don't focus on that character. So yes, I've had that associate, but he tried it with other people. He didn't try it with me because he knows me. I focus on the work. They will look at, and why are you frowning? That's your business if you are frowning. All I'm interested in, are you okay? Sure, there's nothing wrong at all. I'm fine. Are you sure you are fine? Then we focus on the work. That you're frowning, and I know I've not been rude to you. I'm not petty about focusing on.
Do you deal with egocentric ones?
Yes, ma'am. So that's what I'm saying, that I focus on the work. So this particular associate, now that you're even saying it, there was a time somebody scolded him in the team, and then he went to the bathroom, he was punching the wall, and they said he was punching the wall. When he came out, I said, why were you the one punching the wall? He said, yes, ma, I'm very upset.
As far as aggression to the wall.
I said, you know that you are damaging your knuckles. The person that you are upset, does she know that you're the one that will feel the pain? Said, ma, I'm very, very upset. I said, okay, can we go and talk elsewhere? And we went to speak. And I spoke to him that, look, it's the same thing I tell people that your peers, that this is a work environment. Nobody owes you to be smiling at you. But what they owe you is respect. If a supervisor is rude, then you have a right to complain. But that anything other than that mutual respect and being cordial and not being don't expect more. This is work. And so I think for me it has helped.
Mm.
And it doesn't mean that I'm not close to them. I mean, so we
Just
talk
set
about
your
other
boundary,
things. But I
just
set
like you
my
said.
boundaries. After
No-go
work,
area.
I can say, okay, so what's the matter? I can tease. But when I'm working, I'm
The
working.
job has to be
The
done.
job has to be done.
Okay, we're gradually wrapping up now. Now, earlier I think we alluded to that about comportment, appearance, irrespective. How you appear in the public, your neatness, hygiene, You don't want to be a corporate woman and you pass by and there are like, snide remarks and things like that. What's your counsel on this?
Yeah, so appearance is, even though as much as we say that never judge a book by its cover, unfortunately, the first appearance matters. It goes a long way as to what people think about you. Now, your interaction with them after that first appearance will determine what they say about you afterwards. But appearance is very important, and being clean and properly groomed doesn't mean that you have to be expensive. I think that's where sometimes we lose it, right? It doesn't have, so you don't have to break your bank.
Really best.
Exactly. To look smart. You need to understand your body figure, dress appropriately. I mean, so if you are big, you try as much as possible to avoid flowery things. You wear things with stripes because it makes you look a bit slimmer. You pay attention to your colors. And to my sisters, right, as much as possible, I don't wear hijabs with stones. I think it's just tacky. If you are wearing a patterned cloth, you try to use a plain scarf. You try to match your blazer with your hijab, right? Your dress can be loose, but it will still be smart. If your dress is loose, then let your blazer be a bit slimmer. So that professional appearance, and hygiene is very important. You really don't, like you said, you don't want to walk into a room, no matter how brilliant you are, if people are not comfortable sitting with you, they will go and meet that person that does not know the work. Is the reality. And I've had to help. I mean, it's unfortunate. I've met people, young associates, just starting their career. And I noticed there was a particular lady I met at, and I noticed that, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, Aziza, will you be forward? Will you not be forward? But how do I approach it? So I asked her if she could come to my office, and she said, oh yes, ma. She was very happy, and we spoke. And after that, I said, see, that day that we met, I noticed this. I hope you do not mind. I actually brought deodorants for her. And I told her that, look, this particular brand, you may not find it easily here, but one of the things you can do, anytime when you get some, just take alum and lime. It's not expensive, right? I actually took the alum from my house. Just buy lime, use it.
Very good.
And it's really, I mean, she
appreciated
appreciated it. So it's also helping ourselves, right? As women. Some people will not hear. Some people will argue that they don't have body.
What's your business?
Yes, but hygiene and appearance is very important, and it doesn't have to be expensive to look professional. It's about how you present yourself, understanding where you are going, the environment, and understanding your values, and dressing mindful, because the way you dress is also about your respect to yourself, your respect to the people you are going to meet, right?
And your audience.
And your audience, exactly.
Okay, it's all been counsel, but now we want to get your final words. Final words to the younger ones, the mentees, the professionals, the young professionals, and all of that, to wrap up the conversation.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, I think you should seek excellence. For those of us that are Muslims, we know that it's part of our qualities as Muslims to seek ihsan in everything that we do. The other thing is about being ambitious. But like I said earlier, you need to understand what you're ambitious for. Does it align with your values? Does it align with what you're seeking to achieve? There are opportunities that may come. You don't have to take all opportunities. You need to be very confident without losing humility. You need to also be modest without becoming invisible. And ultimately, that professionalism is putting that competence such that your competence should show the value you are adding. Your character should inspire trust. And your presence should be impactful and benefit those that you are with. And ultimately, you should remember that you are still accountable to that one
Almighty.
person that sees you when others don't see you.
Wow, Hajia Azizat Musi Sadiq, partner.
Banwa Nikodalu. We are very particular about the way our law firm is called. Banwo and Nikodalu.
And
Ighodalo,
Ighodalo.
yes.
Kudos to them to have kept you and nurtured you over the years till now. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate all the insight. 1 hour had just run off like that, you know. We also thank you for watching, listening, and being a part of the program. Remember, and we must, appreciate her for supporting us on this program thus far. You can also join her. You can also, be impactful. Let's continue this conversation. Let it endure. We desire your support. Do make it a date with us same time next week when we shall bring you another very, very interesting topic. Then, what do you know about insurance? We plan to bring an expert, a professional here to talk to us on that. Join us same time next week. Bye for now.